Hi, I'm Rakashi. Welcome to the Bookshelf Life. This segment of my channel covers books that I have on my bookshelf for at least, for a while, or maybe I just bought recently, and I have at least read twice. I will rate each book based on 3 different categories. We have plot, characters, and themes. Category is marked out of 5 stars, so therefore the book is marked out of 15 stars in total, which means that I will then average them out of 3, which, will still get the 5 stars for each book. For Her Son is written by Colleen Smith Dennis, so this is her second novel and it's very, very crazy. Nothing but mother's undying love that allows her son to be a complete sociopath, right? I got this book from the Jamaica Expo in 2018 and I read it shortly after getting it. I'll tell you, I got severe headaches when I was reading the first time, and it always happens whenever I reread this book. So the story begins with Julian Hemmings giving birth to her second child, Bernard Jr., also known as BJ throughout the story. Julian recently married a rich man named Bernard Hemmings, and she moved into his home along with her firstborn son, Jared, who's from a previous relationship. So the book follows Julian and her family, has her constant act of protecting and defending BJ, causes many troubles for the Hemmings as they try to carry on their upper class image. The plot is great. There's a good build up between the characters and the relationship. So the book is told in the third person, so we're getting the thought process of the characters. So for the majority of the book we follow Julian, but there are bits of times where we follow Bernard, Kenton, who is Bernard's brother, and even BJ himself. The pacing within the first few chapters is fast, and as it feels like a sudden time jump occurs with every one of these chapters. However, there are establishing steps to the family's dynamic, as many dramatic and bigger events occur for the majority of the rest of the book, and build more on the Hemmings family relationship. The rest of the pacing after those few chapters is good for the rest of the book. This has so many dramatic moments that may fill the reader with dread. The book has a satisfying conclusion, however, the satisfaction is not fully settled for me, and there was one major issue I had with the last few chapters of the book as well. Aside from my issues with the ending, the plot overall is pretty good. Each character will be rated by 3 different categories. First we have development, then we have writing, then we have my personal favorite, the jump girl category. First we have Julian. She's basically the main crosses of this book. She is stubborn, demanding, and she's a caring mother of 2 children. However, she's heavily characterized as protective of her second son, BJ, noted from the book's tagline, "In her eyes he could do no wrong." Julian serves as both a protagonist and an antagonist because her actions can negatively affect other characters in the book just as much it can affect her. She's the kind of character you love to hate. With her main defining trait of being protective of BJ, she would do anything to defend him, including bribing a police officer. Next we have Bernard. He's Julian's husband. He's a rich older man who happily plays his father role to Jared and BJ. Bernard is very authoritative, but he cares for all of his children equally despite the trouble BJ shows later in the book. Compared to Julian, he's fair and willing to confront BJ for a lot of his mischief in the book. Bernard is a great character, however, his resolution at the end of the book is very disappointing. Next, we have the actual son of a bitch. Next we have BJ. He's Julian and Bernard's son and Jared's younger half-brother. BJ is best characterized by his lack of empathy and guilt. BJ causes a lot of trouble for the family, and the reader might be filled with dread, especially with how badly his actions affect other characters. He's pretty much the villain of the book, and it's 10 times more frustrating with Julian protecting him. Next we have Jared. He's Julian's son from a previous relationship. Jared is known to be introverted and smart. He's often antagonized by his mother and half-brother for the majority of the book. He often tries to fill the big brother role, however with a brother like BJ, that's just mission impossible. Jared even has to deal with Julian's ire if she believes he's not being a good brother, which further places distance between mother and son. Finally, we have Tara Ann. She's the eldest of Bernard's daughters from previous relationship. Tara is eloquent and well-mannered, and she has a close relationship with her father, which causes a bit of jealousy with Julian. The first theme is consequence. So all the characters have consequences that affect others and themselves, some delayed than others. Even if some actions are for the greater good, characters can face consequences. For example, in chapter 3, after saying BJ bites him when they're playing at home, Jared gets hit and yelled at by his mother. Another example that's shown throughout the book is that whenever someone places blame on BJ, there's a consequence of having to face, and that's Julian coming to his defense. Actually, the most frustrating part of this theme is that BJ, while he is often held accountable for his actions, the theme of consequences for him is not overwhelming until the end of the book. A lot of BJ's actions would typically have major consequences. However, thanks to his mother's interference, it is frustrating not being able to see the extent of consequences his actions can bring. The next theme is wealth. The Hemmings' wealth is often mentioned as the family can easily afford what they need. Horse rides, trips abroad, a pool for the house, even BJ's horse. It's also expressed in the various schools BJ goes to, primarily his prep school and his high school, and it's also Julian's hope that BJ rubs shoulders with the kids of rich families. Next is family relationship. This is shown in the Hemmings' family dynamic and the involvement of Bernard and Julian's relatives, which is thoroughly highlighted throughout the book. So, for example, there's also a chapter where Bernard invites his daughters to stay at his home for the holidays, especially because Bernard wants to spend more time with them. Next theme is parenthood. So we see this in Julian's parenting style of BJ and Jared, which is in contrast to how Bernard treats Jared, BJ, and even his daughters. There are moments where Julian feels like Bernard is not acting like a doting father to BJ and seems to be giving more love to his other children. Finally, we have coming of age. We read through the incidents that shape BJ and Jared as their own persons from their childhood going into near adulthood. Jared becomes more reserved but more mature, while BJ becomes more reckless and dangerous. So just some final thoughts. So there's an eagle over the fountain at the Hemmings home, and it's considered a dominant symbol as it represents power, which is an important symbol for BJ as it is needed for him to be in charge and, express himself throughout the book. Also, I'm not sure if it's my copy of the book or I was not reading this part of the chapter correctly, but there's a part where it stated that Jared is 16 and BJ's 10 for one chapter. Even though the book established the brothers being at least 4 years apart, basically when BJ was born, Jared was 4 years old. But with that being said, this book is filled with a lot of dramatic moments among the characters, and it does bring some satisfying moments that help round out the dynamics and relationship of the characters. If you're looking for a book with drama and a vibrant cast, then For Her Son might be for your reading. Thanks for watching this video.